Okay, this is Unit 5, Formative 3, Day 1, Simplifying Radicals. Another name for radicals is a square root, and it's a square root because it is x to the 1/2. Okay, so x to the 1/2 is the same thing as a square root of x. Now, we've dealt with exponents before, but never fractions. Okay, fractions just means that we have a square root or a cube root. Okay, everything we do will be squared. Okay, and some examples: the square root of 81 is 9. The square root of 49 is 7. So just so you guys remember, perfect squares, which is 81 and 49, those are the nice ones. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, and 144 to name the first couple. Okay. All right, so let's start. Okay, when we do square roots, what we're going to do is we're going to do factor tree. So we're going to take 24 and we're going to create a factor tree. We're going to use prime numbers. Okay, so but just start off with any factor. So 24, we can go 8 and 3. Okay, 3 is prime, so I'm going to leave that. I can't break that down anymore. 8 is 4 and 2. 2 is prime, so I'm going to leave that. And then 4 is 2 times 2. And those are my primes. So that's a factor tree. We have 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Okay. Now a square root, remember, takes things in pairs. Okay. So for every pair you have, you're going to bring one outside. Okay. So for example, remember the square root of 81 is 9. That is because the square root of 81 is 9 times 9. So we have a pair of 9s. One comes out of the square root. Okay. So we have a pair of 2s. So 1 is going to come out of the square root. Now this 2 and this 3 don't have anything to pair up with. Okay, so we're just going to multiply those back together and get 6. And it stays inside. So the square root of 24 simplified is 2 square root of 6. There will be no decimals in this unit. Okay, no decimals. Do not use your calculator and put the square root of 24. Okay, let's try another one. Okay. All right, so 540. This is a bigger one. But just started, it ends in a 0, so I know it multiplied by 10. Okay, so now I'm going to break 10 up, 5 and 2. Both of those are prime, so I'm going to leave them. Okay, 54 is 9 and 6. Okay, 9 can be broken up into 3 and 3. Okay, and then 6 can be broken up into 3 and 2. Okay, so I have 2 2s, 1, 2, 3 3s. And a 5. Okay, so let's pair things up. So I have a pair of 2s. So every pair you have, one comes out. I have a pair of 3s here. So that's going to come out, this multiplication. Okay, and I have no more pairs. So I'm going to multiply what's left, and it stays inside the square root. So 3 times 5 is 15. But remember, we're going to go ahead and multiply those. So 6 square root of 15, okay, is your answer. All right, let's look at variables. Okay, so 9. Okay, we're going to break this up into square root of 9 times the square root of x to the 6. So we're going to break up the variables and the numbers. So 9 gets broken down into 3 times 3. Okay, now variables are a lot different. They're actually easier. Variables, for every pair you have, you bring one out. Okay, so we're going to see how many times 2 will go into 6 here in a second. Okay, so 9, I have a pair of 3s. Okay, and then I have x to the 6th. So I have a pair of 3s, so I'm going to bring that out. Okay, there's nothing left, so there's no numbers right now inside the square root. Okay, so now let's take a look at the x to the 6th. How many times will 2 go into 6? Because remember, this means we have x times x. Okay, and we want to bring out pairs. So there's a pair, and there's a pair. So there's 3 pairs. So for every pair, we're going to bring one out. Okay, and when we get rid of them, there's nothing left. So this simplified is 3x to the 3rd. And there's no square root because everything came out. All right, so we're going to break this down. So I'm going to take square root of 54, square root of a to the 7th, and square root of b to the 8th. Okay, I'm going to do them separate. So let's do 54. So I have 6 and 9. 6 is 3 and 2. 9 is 3 and 3. Okay, and now I have a to the 7th. Remember, we want pairs. Okay, So we're going to go ahead, so a to the 6th, 2 will go into that. I can break that down into pairs. And then I have an a. B to the 8th, okay, b to the 8th is good, it's even, so 2 will go into that. Okay, so I have a 2 and 3 3s. Okay, and then I have a to the 6th times a, and then b to the 8th. Oops, sorry. Alright, so I don't have a pair of 2s, but I do have a pair of 3s, so I'm going to bring one out. Okay, now the 2 and the 3, I don't have a pair for, so I'm going to multiply those back together, and they're going to stay inside the square root. And that's a 6. Now I have a to the 6th, so if I have 6 a's, I have 3 pairs, so that's a to the 3rd. I have this one left over, and then I have b to the 8th, which 2 will go in that 4 times, and there's none left over. Okay. So there's my answer. Alright, see you guys in class.